Hey there guys, welcome back, Ricky here. Alright, so a number of you guys have asked about a very specific knife, and so as you guys can probably tell from the title of this video, it's about the Masamoto KS versus the Masamoto KS or SW stainless version. So let me give you guys some basic specs about these knives, and then hopefully it'll help you understand the differences between them and why the SW is a good choice for many people, or the stainless version of the KS is a good choice for many people. For those who are curious, I have 3124 versions of these knives. So 3124 refers to the sizing of these knives. When you find these knives in stock at any retailer, they'll give you three sets of numbers. 3124 refers to the 240 millimeter version, which is what I have. 3127 refers to the 270 millimeter version, or the 10.5-inch version, and then 3130 refers to the 300 millimeter version. So in terms of actual specs, the KSs are made of a white number 2 or a Shirogami number 2, which is heat treated from a 61 to a 62. Very good steel, very responsive on a cutting board. Another very interesting thing about the KS that people really love is it's one of the few Japanese Gyotos that have a very, more of a sabatier profile. They obviously have a winning formula with this knife. The only problem they have is not keeping it in stock or not making enough of them. Now this particular sample here weighs 163 grams. Yeah, for a 240 millimeter knife. Most Japanese knives in the 210 millimeter range will weigh about maybe 220. And so a German knife, an 8-inch German knife, will typically weigh about 260 to maybe even 300. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea. So this knife here, being 30 millimeters longer than the average, 210 millimeter knife, weighs 163. So it is by far one of the lightest knives you can buy, period, bar none. And for the handle shape, it uses a D-shaped handle, a right-sided D-shaped handle. Lefties won't have any issues with this knife. Then we have the SW version. So most websites will advertise the SW as the Masamoto KS stainless Swedish steel version, SW. So they really want to make sure that you know that this is a KS. When I got this knife, I actually purchased this knife about 2.5 years ago. It was the second Japanese Gyoto I purchased ever. And I was lucky enough to purchase it at the price at the time. It was $260. Interestingly, when I bought this knife, it was about $20 to $40 more expensive than the KS version. At that time, the KS was well in stock. Every retailer that had a KS was selling them. So at the time when I purchased the SW, the stainless steel version, it was actually more valuable than the KS. So 2 years later, the markets have completely, turned around on these knives. In terms of the SW, here are the specs. If you go to any retailer and you find the SW in stock, it'll say Swedish steel. I don't really know what that steel means. All I know is it's a Swedish steel and it's heat treated from a 59 to maybe a 60. Edge retention, I have found that the SW version will hold an edge for between 3 and 4 weeks in my kitchen, which is actually very respectable. The KS will hold an edge in normal daily use in a kitchen for about 1 or 2 weeks longer. You do expect that with a knife being heat treated from a 62 compared to a knife that is heat treated to a 60. The overall profile is exactly the same as the KS, which is actually a really good thing for those who love the profile of the KS and you can't find it in stock. Well, you can find a stainless steel version and experience virtually the same cutting profile. Now, I do use this knife in my kitchen on and off depending on what I'm testing, but I have used it for a significant amount of time for the last 2.5 years, and you can see here that it does look fairly brand new. Now, the handle is very different between the two knives. This handle on the SW, the stainless steel version, has been seasoned and treated by me. I've got about 3 to 4 layers here of my DIY handle treatment, which I'll post either the formula in the video description, or I'll post a link to the video right here. You guys can see how I make my DIY handle seasoning. It's basically a mixture of mineral spirits, linseed oil, and a varnish, and any combination of the three. And so it really gives your knives a waterproof sealing, and as you can see, it's kept this handle looking brand new, even though it's 2.5 years old. If you guys are wondering about weight, the SW, the stainless steel version, weighs exactly the same as the KS version. This particular sample here weighs 165 grams. So the logos on the right-hand side, they're not hand engraved, although I wish they would be, considering how much these knives can cost these days. If you picked up these knives side by side at the same time and you had no idea which one is which, and the KS has never been used, they are virtually identical. The only indication that this is the SW version is that there's a small S on the left side of the knife. That is the only thing that tells you that this is not the KS version or the carbon version. Other than that, they have the exact same handle shape, the same handle material, the same cutting profile, and the same sharpness and the same spine, the same fit and finish. They are virtually the same knives. So now the question is, why should you buy one over the other? Well, first off, the largest retailers in the world cannot keep these in stock or cannot even get them. So I have no idea what Masamoto is doing. Masamoto is still making plenty of knives, but they're not sending any of the KSs to the States or to any of the large retailers that I am aware of. The SW, I have only seen them on eBay and on Amazon. So don't be confused if you see the Masamoto KS and next to that it says Swedish Steel SW. It's referring to a stainless steel version of the KS. So if you love Japanese knives and you love Japanese craftsmanship, but you want it as a Sabatier French cutting profile, the Masamoto KS is pretty much the only knife you can get at this point that offers that. So a fantastic knife, you will not be disappointed. Now I have been told by a couple of my subscribers, I have not confirmed this because I have not looked for these knives on auction, but I've heard that the KSs have sold on eBay for between $600 to as high as $1,200. Now, I would not pay $1,200 for the KS, even though apparently they have been selling for that price. I'll keep it there. I'm just not going to go beyond that, but I don't think a KS is worth $1,200 unless you're paying that money for an auction that is going towards charity. Yeah. I'll leave links to where you can find these knives for sale in the video description. Alright guys, well that will be it for this video. Thank you for being here and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh my goodness, my knees are starting to fall apart. Alright, so this is my last batch of knives for today. So let me tell you guys a few of the names that what they're getting. So William from Portland. William, you are getting a Shogun Series boning knife. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for being a supporter. Next knife we have Albert in San Jose. Albert, thank you so much. You are getting a Shogun Series VG10 bread knife. Next is Sammy. Sammy in Brea, California. Sammy, you are getting a 6-inch Shogun fillet knife. I know a little while back you emailed me about some utility knives, and hopefully you haven't gotten one yet. And yes, folks, I do remember all of the emails and names and messages that I get from my Patreon supporters. So every one of these supporters mean a whole lot to me. So Sammy, thank you for being a supporter. I hope you enjoy this knife. Next is Wanda. Wanda is one of the coolest supporters I have. She's a huge enthusiast and she's always emailing me, at least on the comments, and asking about knife tips and how to improve her sharpening skills. Wanda, you are getting the Shogun 8.5-inch Kuritsuke. Hopefully this will be of use to you. I know you've already picked up some really nice knives. Thank you for being a supporter on Patreon. Jay in Hawaii. Jay, you are getting a Shogun Series Santoku, my friend. Thank you so much for being a supporter, and hopefully you will enjoy this knife. And Jeffrey from Pittsburgh. Jeffrey, you are getting a Shogun Series X chef knife. This is the 8-inch chef knife with the VG10 core steel and the hammered finish. Thank you for being a supporter on Patreon. All right, and the last knife we got here in this pile is Skylar from Haltom City, Texas. So Skylar, thank you for being a supporter. You've got the Shogun 7 Series or Shogun Series 7-inch cleaver, Chinese cleaver. So this is a heavy duty work knife. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for being a supporter on Patreon. Okay, so the next 4 boxes of knives I've got here all happen to be the Dalstrong Gladiator Series steak knives. So there are 4 box sets I have here. I think there are 4 knives in each set. And the top 4 names that I've got, or the next 4 names that I have here, are Theron from Los Angeles, Clyde from Griffin, Georgia, Christian from St. Louis, Missouri, and Eric from Germantown, Maryland. So congratulations to you 4. You guys are all getting the Gladiator box set steak knives. Did I say that right? Yeah, we're good. Enjoy the knives. Time to box up these knives here and then go back inside, print up some more labels, come back out, and hopefully I'll have more room to work with. And it's starting to get hot here.